got a lot to talk about today, guys, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, look at this awesome UFO video from Skywatch Signal. This is just amazing. Of this object or fleet of objects or whatever forming this triangle type formation. It looks like a pretty good video. I mean, you never know these days. But that is a pretty great video to my mind. Let me know what you think we're looking at here. Are we looking at one object, multiple objects? Is it legit? Is it not? Skywatcher says it kind of looks like the Phoenix Lights. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Meanwhile, we have some comments from Michael Herrera about Eric Davis in Hal Puthoff. And then this is replying to Ashton Forbes, who says, Eric Davis is the person I've identified as the one who figured out how to teleport objects by jamming entangled double-layer plasmas together. He's a Black Project's government physicist who is also the world's leading expert on warp drives in wormholes. He wrote 6 of the DIRDs. In the most recent UFO hearing, he was sitting center stage as the key whistleblower. Yeah, Eric Davis is the one that was telling Eric Burleson about reptilians and Greys and Nordics, which was hilarious and awesome. Michael Herrera chimes in, and he says, yes, him and Puthoff are still 100% working for the legacy programs. I know this for an absolute fact. So yeah, Michael Herrera is saying that Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis are working for the control group and are still working for the control group that is active today. Which would be really interesting if we had a legacy member actually before Congress testifying or briefing members of Congress on the types of aliens out there. Of course, you could say maybe they're spreading disinformation on behalf of the control group, but there are different types of aliens, and reptilians are one of them, so I don't think that part of it was disinformation. But really interesting that Mike is saying, yeah, they are control group guys, and they're read into the program, and they're still doing it. Now, Tom Wilson didn't sit down with Eric Davis because Eric was out of the loop. So yeah, I mean, Eric is definitely in the loop, and I'm sure Hal is. Hal has been in the game for a long time. Of course, he's read into some aspects of the program, but what aspects? How deep in the onion are these guys? You know, there's the layers of the onion of secrecy and of activity. You know, there's guys at the Bob Lazar level tinkering with older UFOs, seemingly trying to get them to work or reverse engineer them. Then there are the people at the Jake Barber level who are retrieving UFOs that apparently have been intentionally downed in some cases in modern times. You know, ongoing operations and the deeper level stuff. And then there's the deeper levels below that where people are apparently working with beings and going off world and doing God knows what. You know, the real breakaway civilization. And yeah, you know, I don't know how big that layer of the onion is. Obviously, if it's a civilization, that would imply something pretty big. And you can see how it could actually be that big with all the dumbs connected underground across the country. We could be looking at something quite large. But who knows? Who knows? Ashton Forbes, of course, is very happy that Mike is in the chat. I'm always happy when Mike is in the chat. And Mike says, absolutely, all because of money and control is why it's kept secret. So how deep in the onion do you think Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff are? Do you think they're running around in our own UFOs going off world? I don't see them as, you know, being that deep in the onion. I see them as more of a Bob Lazar level, but one step above Bob or deeper than Bob, because Bob was, you know, pretty much a, you know, hired hand, you know, for a few months at S4, but he wasn't calling the shots. I would see Hal Puthoff as more of a, you know, supervisory or in some control position. So yeah, let me know what you think about all of that in the comments below. Also really interesting that Mike is keeping up with Ashton Forbes. Mike, I would love to hear your thoughts on MH370. So, if you're paying attention and you want to comment on that, be really interested to hear your thoughts. Let's see. Meanwhile, on the Y Files, AJ and Joe Rogan are talking about the Grand Canyon. And of course, I can't play the clip, but they get into some of the stories about black helicopters and secret areas of the Grand Canyon where we're not allowed to go. Otherwise, these helicopters or planes will show up. So, what's going on with the Grand Canyon? I asked Grok about this. Of course, we've all heard the stories, but I was curious what Grok's comments are. And Grok is, you have to go into it a little bit before Grok will give you real information. It always wants to debunk stuff. And even when you get into it, it does, go on the debunking side of it. But yeah, it says recent post on X claimed that entering certain forbidden or restricted areas of the Grand Canyon triggers the appearance of Black Hawk helicopters, often described as military or government operated rather than tourist or civilian aircraft. For example, various users have stated that entering these zones results in a Black Hawk showing up, with some suggesting it's not just for cultural or spiritual reasons, but possibly to conceal something undisclosed. One specific claim mentions an Apache combat helicopter appearing when explorers approached a sensitive area, possibly near ventilation shafts mentioned in older stories. These posts suggest a pattern of government surveillance or intervention in restricted zones, though they lack detailed first-hand accounts or specific locations beyond general references to forbidden zones. And it goes on to say that, the helicopter stuff, that's just anecdotal and not to be relied upon. But then it goes into the Hopi information. And I thought this was really interesting and something I didn't know before. The Hopi people consider the Grand Canyon a sacred place, particularly the Sapapoo, a small alcove near the confluence of the Colorado and Little Colorado rivers, believed to be the point where their ancestors emerged from the underworld. This site is restricted to protect its spiritual significance, and Hopi oral traditions describe a time when their ancestors lived in an underground world within the canyon before emerging to the surface. So yeah, we've all heard about the Hopi and the ant people, and there seems, in my mind, to be some there, whatever that means exactly. But the idea that underworld that they came from was in the Grand Canyon or below the Grand Canyon, that was new to me. I didn't know that was the Grand Canyon. So yeah, there's Native American legends of underground tunnels and beings connected to the Grand Canyon. All that in an area that has restricted areas in it, where Black Hawk helicopters and Apache helicopters will show up if you go into them. So what are they hiding in the Grand Canyon? Is it ancient ruins? Is it, sites of alien activity or NHI activity, ultra-terrestrial activity? Is it giants? Is it all of the above? None of the above? What do you think is going on in the Grand Canyon? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Meanwhile, we had some comments about, Richard Doty from Lou Elizondo. He doesn't name Doty directly, but that's who he's talking about. He says Doty went rogue back in the bad old days.
Want to have the conversation? Let's just have it. There is an inherent distrust, by some in in our population of our government, and the question is why? Is it because there is a long history of deceiving the American people, or is it that there are some incidents that are completely abhorrent and we lied to the American people, so now that trust is gone? Is it because that there is a history of trying to mess with people in the UFO community? I know I'm going to be very popular for saying this. I don't believe it. And there's people who say, "Oh, but look at this guy over here. He was an Air Force CI guy." Look, I was a
Richard
CI
Doty.
guy. And well, you're going to say his name. I'm not going to say it. But the bottom line is, that guy was operating rogue well outside his chain of command. And I can tell you for absolute certain, his chain of command never endorsed that behavior ever. And yes, they wanted to go away and disappear. You're damn right, because what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
He deceived a U.S. person, taxpayer, on something that maybe he thought he was being clever or being funny, but it was wrong.
Well, it was wrong, and it led to the death of an American citizen, most likely. So, yeah. Did Richard Doty go wrong in that instance and likely other instances? Was he rogue, or were his activities sanctioned by the control group? Now, I tend to think they were sanctioned. I think that Lou is, maybe being a little overly generous, and some will read disinformation into that. And yeah, I mean, I can see why they might go that way. I don't know what is on Lou's mind here, but clearly there has been a coordinated disinformation campaign against the American people and the people of the world for many years. So I think that he's being a little too generous there. But it's an interesting idea that Richard Doty may have been a rogue operator in the bad old days. And if he was a rogue operator, then is he a rogue operator now? Now, this is coming on the heels of Richard Doty talking smack about Lou and Hal Puthoff, saying he was approached by them to spread disinformation. Now, he since walked one of those comments back, saying that it was AI generated, his comments about Lou Elizondo. Who knows what the hell is going on? There is this back and forth. You don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. Possibly that's by design as well, but let me know your thoughts. Either way, interesting idea, but again, there's a lot we don't know by design on the situation, so it's hard to even comment effectively. But yeah, I'm reading some BS here. I'm reading some BS, but let me know what you think. Meanwhile, some more creepy stuff coming from China. A robot with a human brain. What? This is from Mario Knopfel. China built a robot with a human brain. Chinese scientists grew a cerebral organoid, a mini brain made from human stem cells, and connected it to a robot. Not just for show, says Mario. The brainlet controls physical movement, dodges obstacles, grabs objects, and even shows signs of synaptic plasticity, meaning it can learn and adapt based on experience. They embedded it into a brain-on-chip system combining neural tissue with silicon circuitry, essentially a hybrid biodigital processor. This could revolutionize neuroscience, drug testing, and AI development. Yeah, but it also drags us straight into Blade Runner territory. Machines that don't simulate thought, they actually have it. Okay, so this is the brainlet inside this robot? What? Made out of human stem cells? That is creepy, guys. What the hell? What the hell is this? Yeah, and we are living in the future, guys, and it is an increasingly alarming future. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure this could have positive applications, but the implications of this thing, and if this sort of stuff keeps on going, as it probably will, are kind of terrifying. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. Meanwhile, I think this one was sent to me by Chumbles. Thank you, Chumbles. China signs deal with Russia to build a power plant on the moon, potentially leaving the U.S. in the dust. When you buy through, oh yeah, okay. Russia has signed a deal with China to build a nuclear power plant on the moon. The Russian reactor will be used to power the International Lunar Research Station, jointly led by China and Russia, and should be completed by 2036, according to a memorandum of cooperation signed by the two nations. The announcement comes just after NASA revealed a 2026 budget proposal that would axe the agency's plans for an orbital lunar base. the construction of the Chinese-Russian reactor will likely be carried out autonomously without the presence of humans, according to a 2024 interview with Yuri Borisov, Director General of the Russian space agency Roscosmos. I got that right. On the Russian state-owned news site TASS. While details of how this can be achieved remain unclear, Borisov added that the technological steps are almost ready. All right, so there you go. China and Russia working on a possible nuclear plant on the moon. Not going to be completed until 36, so it's not like imminent or anything. But yeah, we've got robots operated by brains, maybe, and we got increasing activity in space, and signs that are kind of alarming. We have the Space Force sending some secret plane up into space, some craft up into space. David Grush flew it, remotely. It was a remote control thing, but we don't know what that craft did. It was up there for a long time, doing something secretive up in space. We have people in Space Force and other forces talking about satellites fighting with each other. We've got, adversarial nations potentially building nuclear plants on the moon. Things are heating up out there, guys. Things are heating up. Let me know what you think about it. Meanwhile, Steph Kent is reporting on a possible Yeti filmed in the Himalayas recently. Yeah, check this out. This is a great footage. Hard to know if it's legit or not. Is that a Yeti? Is that a Bigfoot? Is that a Himalayan Bigfoot? Well, it sure looks good. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this footage. It'd be nice if we knew who filmed this. She does link to the source. It's, I think, in Russian. So I'll let those brave people out there go to that site. And I'll, of course, link to this below. But yeah, let me know what you think about this potential Yeti filmed in the Himalayas. I think she says this is in 2025. Yeah, 2025. So very recent, very strong sighting of a Bigfoot. And a great UFO video shared by Wixie of a possible cigar-shaped UFO. Look at that. Is that a cigar? Is that a saucer on its edge? I love how it goes behind the trees like that. Really hard to CGI that in. And yeah, this was filmed in 2024. Let's see, where's the location? Over France. All right, cool. Luminous orange color. Love it. Great sighting, I think, of a very strong UFO filmed in France. Look at that gorgeous UFO. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Last but not least, have you ever just wanted to dig a hole, but a dog won't leave you in peace? Well, welcome to the world of this gopher. Let me know what you think about this awesome dog and gopher in the comments below and everything else covered today. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support the channel, you can grab a coffee mug or a t-shirt or a hoodie in the merch store below, or you can become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.